Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237, and this isn't part of my extreme horror reviews, but just again scrolling through Hulu, saw this, and this movie I've heard of. I've seen it come up on fan pages on Facebook, here on YouTube, heard the title a bunch of times, but never actually saw it and wanted to give it a look. It's the 2014 horror, comedy, action, superhero, technically film, WolfCop. And the thing about this movie is, well, first, it was directed by Lowell Dean, who also wrote the film. And it doesn't even say what the budget was, but it was incredibly low budget. It was made in Canada. It's only 79 minutes. It is forgivably short. And what this movie is it's not a slasher film, but take the Renaissance slashers of the mid-2000s, Hatchet, Hide the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon, Hills Run Red. I'll even give credit to Gutterballs, and I'm not even a fan of Gutterballs. Someone actually brought up Gutterballs, asking if I consider it extreme, and add that to my extreme reviews. Initially, I said no, but I might. I'll be reviewing it shortly anyway, but I'm not sure if I would go as far as calling it that. But it's more of like the crazy concept movies as of late, like the movie Rubber, the one about the killer tire. Yeah, that movie was okay. It was better than I thought it would be. This film, though, it's got that real 80s feel. It's got that 80s charm. Anything that, like, if this movie was to be taken seriously, we would call it cheesy. But it's supposed to be done on purpose, so it has that charm to it. 80s look, 80s sound, 80s soundtrack. Crazy concept, a werewolf that's a cop. Or a cop that becomes a werewolf, continues to be a cop. And it has a lot of comedy in it. It's horror comedy, not comedy horror. I would still say horror is the dominant genre in this. But as far as crazy concepts and just having fun with it, there's a fine line between like a trauma film or like, trauma like Poltergeist. I don't know if a Ginger Dead Man is trauma, but like that. Films like that and films like this. And even Rubber, where it's a crazy concept, it is incredibly silly, but it's actually good and entertaining. It's not just flat out ridiculous, like Poltergeist or Ginger Dead Man. It's going to be a shorter video because it's only 79 minutes. It's a very short movie, but it has great pacing. It does have a sequel, which at the very end, it says WolfCop 2 coming 2015. A sequel did come out 2017, simply titled Another WolfCop. So I don't know if initially that little announcement before the credits was in itself another joke. Probably was. But, and you have all these hallmarks of an 80s film. Very small town, focus on the small sheriff's department. The lead character played by Leo Fafford. Leo Fafford. He's an alcoholic sheriff. Everyone thinks he's lazy, incompetent, always late. He gets a call by a friend of his named Willie, who's played by Jonathan Cherry. He runs the gun shop. Says there's been some occult business going on. So he checks it out. Oh, and actually first, the opening credits were awesome. It has like a... I don't really know how to describe it. It's an actual opening credit sequence with cool music. The music is done by the Shooting Guns. It's got this hard rock, 80s type score to it. And he gets another call to the gun place. But when he gets there, he's knocked out by these robed figures. Because the beginning of the film hints towards some sort of satanic cult. He wakes up the next day in his own house. Doesn't know how he got there. Of course, he's late for work. Everyone kind of shits on him. He goes to this one bar. The bartender, played by Sarah Lind, is sort of hitting on him, telling him to stay late. She closes early. And this is when the movie really actually starts, because he goes in the bathroom. And that's where we get his first transformation. All practical effects. I'll say it starts when he's at the urinal. And he starts pissing blood. And yes, we see everything. Still practical. But this movie adds some neat ideas to the idea of a werewolf and turning into one. Because as we see with this and the transformation later on, that's a bit... Because this one's kind of shaky. It's sort of like zoomed in so you don't get like a full effect. It's still keeping the mystery kind of. The second transformation, we see everything, but... You know, instead of hair growing out of the body, his skin actually rips and the wolf body comes out of it. So like in the second transformation, we see all down his back just like split, and just the werewolf body emerges from it. I thought that was a cool idea. And just seeing that practical like rubber skin material just stretch and rip. So like his hands, like the wolf fingers like break through the human skin. Which the second transformation, because basically he has Willie lock him up in a cell during the second transformation. He's like against the bars and this one arm is turning. And so when it rips, he drops his wolf arm, but the skin of the other hand was like hanging in the bar. I thought that was a really cool idea. So we have the transformation. There's a couple gang leaders that come in. He kills one, you know, brutally. The other one runs off. And then basically, you know, have a period of the film where he wakes up, he's at Willie's. He's like, I found you, I tranked you, and, you know, we're going to kind of figure this out. But he notices his senses are much sharper. His hearing, his sight, his attention. And he starts looking into the deaths at the bar that he caused. They have an annual drink and shoot event that was canceled 32 years ago. It hints at similar events in the past. He's piecing it together, and we as the audience, we get, okay, there's this cult. They obviously turn him into the werewolf. Because when he first wakes up after being abducted, he has a pentagram scarred into him. And we also can probably figure out that these deaths in the past were related. And through his research, he finds that this cult is actually like reptilian shapeshifters. It can be anybody. So I mean, this movie throws a lot of ideas at us, but it doesn't feel too overbearing, It's not too overwhelming. It it feels like this film's first and main concern is to be entertaining, and that's what this movie is. Like, yeah, it's funny. It has a lot of comedy. It is a bit of a cop action movie. It is a bit of a vigilante superhero film. You know, it has its lines like after Willie puts him in the cell to watch him, he had, like, towards the end of the transformation, he realizes he didn't even hit record on his camera. And, you know, after the transformation, he's like, drink. Because that's another idea. He maintains his intelligence. He doesn't talk much, but that was something we haven't really seen before, or at least I haven't, where they maintain their cognitive capacity. And we find out towards the end. I'm going to say spoilers here, but it's one of those movies that it's not that it's obvious, but like when you're watching it, you can probably tell who is who as far as where the story's going to go. I mean, this movie really doesn't take itself seriously. And by that, I mean, it's so focused on just having fun and being entertaining that it doesn't really worry about plot points very much. Not to the extent of some movies that don't take itself so seriously that it's just ridiculous and not even trying. Because there's definitely an effort here. They're definitely trying to be fun and entertaining. But, watching it, you can probably be, oh, okay, I bet that person's part of it, that person's part of it. So I'm going to say spoilers here, but if you like crazy 80s gory horror comedies like Reanimator, like Evil Dead 1 or 2, but the first one is straightforward horror, 2 is the horror comedy. Basket Case, or other films by Frank Henenlotter, early works of Peter Jackson, I would definitely check out WolfCop. It's on Hulu. Another WolfCop is on YouTube. Yeah, I will be checking that out shortly. It's not quite as gory as the films I just mentioned. Maybe as gory as Basket Case. I fucking love Basket Case, but that's the vibe it's going for. Like, Hatchet was going for like a Friday 13th Madman type feel. This is definitely going for the Basket Case, Reanimator, early Peter Jackson type, movie. And I think it's succeeded highly. So spoilers here. Of course, after he transforms in the cell, him and Willie, he answers the phone and he's like, he's writing stuff down, hangs it up, and he's just like, robbery. And he's like, you're a wolf. And then he does sort of that, again, cheesy, corny, but it's meant to be a joke, where he just turns his, like, cop, like WolfCop. And they go to the store that's being held up, and you do get some funny one-liners. Like, he comes in, shoots a couple of them, one guy shoots at him, and he's like, what the hell are you? And he's like, the fuzz. And he just comes out shooting. And then, Booze makes him strong. Like, Booze is his Popeye spinach. He wants to go to the nearby body shop, and he decks out his cop car by turning his light bar sideways, painting it all black, doing this, like, sort of jagged red W, painting the headlights red. And he goes to some other places and does some WolfCop stuff. And then there's this subplot about this drug-making gang that's led by Jesse Moss, who was the asthmatic lead college kid in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. You know, his guys were the ones that were in the bathroom during the first transformation, while WolfCop and Willie are out doing WolfCop stuff. They come across this barn where they're cooking the drugs or having a party or both. They blow that up. And then, you know, there's this other officer played by Amy Maticio as Sergeant Tina. Okay, so she was in Chained, which I've reviewed. She's in the sequel, and that's all I've seen. Oh, because, oh, and also, I didn't even mention this, the main character, played by Leo Fafford, is Sergeant Lou Garou, which, however you pronounce that in French, it's the French word for werewolf. We get his father was like a hero cop, and her father ran the bar downtown. They were both killed, and like 32 years ago when the last drink and shoot was canceled. And of course, they met their fate from the cult. And then is pretty much just the movie, you know, the worlds collide. The cult wants the WolfCop. The gang leader wants whoever's responsible for killing his guys and screwing up all his operations. Well, first we get this really ridiculous scene where Sarah Lind, the bartender, goes to the jailhouse dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, seduces the WolfCop, and he has this long, stylized, erotic love scene that's really ridiculous because he's a werewolf. I think it's supposed to be, I think that's part of the humor. Of course, she drugs him, and we see she changes into an old woman. So she's part of the shape-shifting cult. So is Willie, who is also the coroner. That's who he turns into. The chief of the sheriff station is also the gang leader. They keep changing back and forth. It's the day of the solar eclipse. He has to be sacrificed on that day so they can, you know, continue their long lives. And that's when everything comes to a head. They bring him out to the woods. The gang is out there. Sergeant Tina's come. Because by this point she realized her father was killed by the cult and she wants to save WolfCop. So, and this is the climax of the film. Just everyone going after each other. All practical effects. And just, this movie's just a hell of a lot of fun. Even if this movie was bad or stupid, I definitely can't fault it for a running time 79 minutes. That's forgivable. But I had fun with this movie. You know, I like the look of the wolf. I don't like how a lot of modern werewolf stuff, they make them look like on all fours wolves, not half man, half beast. This one, you know, I liked the look of the WolfCop. Thought it was cool that he maintained his intelligence. He still wanted to be a cop. He was still going out there for justice. The practical effects were awesome. That's another thing. This movie was so low budget. It has all those effects. Isn't that another testament as to why practical will always trump CGI. Of course not. But the acting, I didn't have a problem with any of the actors. You know, none of them felt over the top, silly, or cheesy. I thought they all did their part fine. The movie did not waste its time. It had the perfect amount of cop and wolf cop. And it didn't waste any time with, you know, the whole idea of the reptilian cult, shape-shifting cult, or this drug gang. This movie was very short, sweet, to the point, and entertaining. It was, you know, a horror film with a lot of comedy. It's still I still think there's a difference between horror comedy and comedy horror. This was horror comedy. But it blended everything very nicely, even action and superhero type elements. Could definitely recommend it. I really like how it captured that 80s aesthetic, that 80s feel. There was one shot in this that I thought was absolutely gorgeous. I can't remember what part it was now. I think someone had just gotten off, just hung up a phone, and it's like this shot of just the road out in the middle of nowhere, just like field, like going on for as far as you can see, and just like the red of the sunset with the black clouds. I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful looking shot. Probably my favorite shot of the whole movie. But I really enjoyed WolfCop. I will definitely be checking out the sequel sometime soon. I do have a bunch of other movies to get to in the meantime. Again, originally, Gutterballs was not in my extreme film collection, showing what I was going to be doing. But when someone brought it up, I was like, I still don't consider it extreme, and I'm not a fan of Gutterballs, but why not? Anyway, that is my review for 2014's WolfCop, and thank you for watching.